Today we're going to test the Geforce GTX 1070 in Warzone. So you can see here that it was released in 2016, so this GPU is more than 6 years old now. We have 8GB of GDDR5 VRAM, and we are pairing it with a Ryzen 9 5900X, and the memory is 16GB of DDR4 running at 3600 MHz. We are also running the latest NVIDIA driver, 512.95, the latest at the time of recording. So we're going to be testing 3 resolutions today, and we are going to start off at 4K. The quality settings, everything is set to max except for ray tracing. Ray tracing is disabled, so you can enable ray tracing even with the GTX 1070. It'll just not utilize RT cores because it doesn't have any, and the performance impact is actually immense. So I'd recommend you not to enable ray tracing. With that said, let's get to it. Right, it's been quite a while since I last played Warzone. If you watched my Fortnite video, you'd see I'm not the biggest fan of Battle Royale games. The last time I played this game was even before the Godzilla event. I haven't even seen that. But just dropping in here, we are getting just over 30 frames per second. I'm just going to start MSI Afterburner here. So as you can see in the top left there, we've got current FPS, average FPS, 1% lows and 0.1% lows. And then just below that, you'll find the frame time graph. And any inconsistencies in the frame time graph will indicate some stutters. So you might not notice any stutters if I'm recording, but the frame time graph will definitely tell you if there are stutters, and I will definitely point them out as well. So all in all, getting 30 frames per second here in the mines, that's definitely commendable for the GTX 1070. It was a pretty decent card when it came out. This is my second favorite GPU that NVIDIA ever released. My favorite GPU is the 1080 Ti, but I don't think NVIDIA will make the same mistake again. They made the 1080 Ti a little too powerful for its time, and a lot of people still running the 1080 Ti don't feel the need to upgrade. That can be said for any 10 series card from the 1060 upwards. Actually, the 1060 is still an adequate card even in today's games. The 1070, if you got one way back in 2016, there's definitely no reason for you to upgrade just yet. I mean, we are playing Warzone, which is quite an intensive game actually, at 4K at over 30 frames per second. Alright, we are now playing at 1440p, and immediately you can see a difference there. We're getting about double the frames per second, but the biggest difference is actually the input lag. We have NVIDIA Reflex plus Boost enabled, so even at 4K 30 frames per second, it wasn't a bad experience. The input lag was still acceptable, but now running 60 frames per second, there's virtually zero input lag. We are using about 7.5 gigabytes of our available 8 gig VRAM buffer. Although reporting in MSI Afterburner, it's not that accurate when it comes to VRAM. There's not a lot of apps that will actually show you or tell you how much VRAM you are actually using. So this is just to give you an idea. Got no idea where the enemies are. I haven't played this map. Got no idea where to go. I actually saw someone there. My gun is accurate. I'm not that accurate, so I probably won't be able to hit him. We managed to get 1 kill at 4K though, so that's a win for 4K. Remember, we are playing at the highest settings possible, and for this card to be getting a solid 60 FPS with very little stuttering going on at 1440p, definitely I'm impressed. Maybe this is not such an intensive area, but I'm guessing that this is what you can expect for most of this map. Alright, that's enough of 1440p. We have an average of 59 frames per second, which is definitely not bad. We have 1% lows of 49 FPS and 0.1% lows of 41 FPS. Definitely a very good experience this. I didn't notice any major stutters. I think there was 1 or 2, but it wasn't as noticeable, so it didn't really bother me. It didn't make me feel like I'm going to miss a shot. Not that I fired any shots at all, because there's just no enemies here. So let's see what this card can do at 1080p. Right, and we're back, and we are at 1080p. Quality settings still set to max, and we are getting about 80 frames per second, 90. I think we should average around 80, 85, depending on the area. I'm guessing this is probably the resolution that you'd be playing on if you've got a GTX 1070, even though it'll do fine at 1440p. This being an online competitive shooter, the higher the frames, usually the lower the input latency and the better your performance, technically, theoretically. I definitely don't remember the previous plunder maps being this deserted. Or maybe I just landed in the completely wrong area because I got no idea what I'm supposed to be doing on this map. But I've met one other player since I started this benchmark run, and I've been recording for about 18 minutes now. And I don't know if there's just not that many players playing anymore, or if this map is just too big, or if I'm just in the wrong spot. Probably the latter, but that's neither here nor there. I'm being tracked, so we'll get some action. Oh, the first action we got and I die. Alright, but there you have it. Got an average of 84 frames per second, playing at 1080p ultra quality settings. This was definitely a pleasant experience. I wouldn't mind playing like this in the future. If I had a card like this is definitely the resolution I'd be playing at, and the settings. I checked off screen, and reducing the quality settings don't really affect the frame rate that much, and it looks a lot worse, so it's definitely worth it just to play at this resolution and at these settings. Alright, let's see if we can get this one guy. I really hope we can. There we go, we got a kill. Alright, and that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, hope to see you guys in the next one.